Hey, this is Ryan Clancy, the chief strategist for No Labels. And if you've read about or heard about our group recently, it's probably been in connection to our effort to get on the ballot in states for 2020-24 to create the opening for an independent unity presidential ticket in 2020-24. Now, that's a big part of what we're doing, but it's not all we're doing, and we've been doing a lot for a long time. And so think of this as a little No Labels 101 tutorial that gives you a sense of where we've been and where we're headed. This is a movement that started in 2009, oriented around a very simple idea, which is that somehow, some way, we had to figure out a way for Democrats and Republicans to work together, and that there had to be some voice for the common sense majority in this country. And so No Labels was born. In those early years, so much of what No Labels was doing was just working in Washington to try to get people in Congress to try to talk to one another. It's hard to overstate back then how difficult it was to just get Democrats and Republicans to collaborate constructively, to talk to one another, to work with one another. So No Labels started hosting these meetings with House members, didn't even really have an agenda. We were just trying to create some trust and build some relationships. And out of those meetings, something called the Problem Solvers Caucus was born in the U.S. House of Representatives. And what this is, it's a group of Democrats and Republicans really committed to working to yes on key issues. And as dysfunctional as Washington has been these last couple of years, to the extent that there has been major successes, like the historic infrastructure bill that was passed in 2021, the Problem Solvers Caucus, along with a really core group of Senate allies that No Labels also organized, have really been the driving force. They're the ones that whenever a government shutdown is approaching, whenever there's a critical vote that needs to get passed, and you got the angry and extreme voices on both sides trying to gum up the works, it is often No Labels allies in the House and Senate that really step up, really keep things moving along. And even today, here in 2023, supporting the House Problem Solvers Caucus, our Senate allies, and leaders that exhibit bold bipartisan leadership is very much fundamental to what No Labels is doing. So that work we've been doing for well over a decade is continuing and will continue to be a priority of ours in the months to come. But about 2 years ago, a lot of our members started to look over the horizon at the 2024 presidential election. And they didn't like what they saw. They saw the very real prospect that we were going to get confronted with an election that no one really wanted a part of. And that's really been confirmed today. If you look at the likely nominees for the Democrats, Republicans, former President Trump, President Biden, 2/3 of the public or more don't want a rematch of that election. And yet neither party seems able or willing to offer something Americans something they actually do want. And so No Labels has spent the better part of a year working to get on the ballot in states across the country to create the opening to put up an independent unity presidential ticket in 2020-24. Now, a couple of key points here. Even though No Labels is doing all this prep work to put forth a ticket in 2020-24 and will be on the ballot or operating in 27 states across the country by the end of 2020-23, we may not do it in the end. We have always talked about this as an insurance policy. This is something we're doing to ensure that if Americans aren't happy with their choices in the spring of next year, that they've got a choice that they can feel good about. And ultimately, No Labels will make our decision about whether we put forth an independent unity ticket sometime between Super Tuesday, which is in early March of 2020-24, when you typically know who the major party nominees are, and the No Labels Party Convention, which is going to be in Texas in early April 2020-24. Now, you may be wondering if No Labels ever put up a unity ticket in 2020-24, what kind of ideas could it run on? And we have an answer for that. We spent a good chunk of the last year really trying to figure out what the common sense majority cares about. We talked to, surveyed tens of thousands of voters, And the result is something we released in July of 2023 up in New Hampshire called our No Labels Common Sense Policy Booklet. There's 30 ideas in here, which we really think characterize where most Americans want to go on most issues. And if a unity ticket came along and ran on some or most of these issues, we think they'd have a winning campaign on their hands. So you can check that out on our website to get a real sense for the kind of country we could have if we actually had some no labels aligned leaders running the show. Look, that is a 101 on no labels, where we've been, where we're going. I hope I give you a better sense of what this movement is all about, but I may not have answered every question you had on your mind. And if you do have any thoughts you want to share with us, or you want to get more involved with our movement, I hope you'll sign up for us on the form we provided for you below. We really want to hear from you and really look forward to seeing you at future No Labels events. Thanks so much.